Greetings, YouTube. I hope my videos are centered. I'm having some problems with that as of late. Um, Senator Sylvia Allen, a state senator from the state of Arizona, and a Republican from the area known as Snowflake. Yes, there's actually a Snowflake, Arizona. That made me smile. Um, has been appointed to lead the Arizona State Education Panel. Now, why is the choice of Miss Allen unusual? Well, let me tell you. Allen is best known for her controversial public comments over the years. During a legislative hearing in 2009, she said that Earth is 6,000 years old, a belief held by young Earth biblical creationists. In 2013, a Facebook post about chemtrail conspiracies gained widespread media attention, as did a March comment suggesting mandatory church attendance. So apparently, Miss Allen has never actually looked at the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, and yet is shown with her hand raised, swearing on something. I wonder if that's the Constitution or the Bible. I'm thinking probably the Bible, and I'm actually curious whether she's actually read that as well. Um, what was that thing? Judge not lest thee be judged. I'm not sure. I'm not up on my biblical quotes. But this is one of the reasons that we have such a problem in America with our education system. There are people in charge of education organizations in our government who are uneducated. And I'm not saying that as a harsh criticism. I'm just saying that as a fact of reality. This woman cannot be educated in science. If she were educated in science, she would not hold these beliefs or would realize her personal beliefs mean that she cannot be on a science panel. That she has not been able to find a way to reconcile the scientific method and her theism, which do not have to conflict in any way, shape, or form. And if someone tries to replace science with theism and theism with science, such as this woman, they're doing it wrong. The world is far older than 6,000 years. I mean, technically, if someone says the world is 6,000 years old, you can say, no, you're right. And you can end it there because they are right. It just happens to be much older than 6,000 years. It is, however, a really good way to stop a conversation and get yourself out of it if you ever need to in the future. Remember that. As far as the claims about chemtrails, throw something shining in the ground and run for it. And the mandatory church attendance, yeah, that's the whole comment I made about the violation of the First Amendment and this senator's inability to understand the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. We need people with degrees in education that have come from accredited colleges that have a strong foundation in scientific theory and historical relevance of understanding that our day-to-day lives need to be dictated by the scientific method as far as educating our children in science. Now, if she would like to run a panel about, comparative religious studies, I have no problem with that. She seems to know a whole lot about contemporary religious beliefs in a certain segment of American culture. But she doesn't seem to know squat about science. So putting her in charge of a science committee seems just a little bit disingenuous, unless, of course, the goal is to completely undermine education in Arizona, rather, which could very well be their tactic. Someone would like to make sure that no one in Arizona actually gets a decent science education, so that in the future, people will be less likely to be inclined to understand critical thinking, so that they'll be more easily duped by politicians in the future. That's what it sounds like to me. Laying the foundations for future shenanigans on the part of the Republican Party. Though, of course, this could technically be used by the Democrats as well, because, well, modern Democrats are conservatives, whereas the Republican Party are ultra-fascist conservatives. We don't have many actual liberals in America left. It's kind of sad, actually. But this is an example of why we need to make sure that people who are appointed or elected to positions that involve education actually have degrees in education and actually understand how education works. And when they don't, they shouldn't be eligible. Just like I'm not going to go to my dentist to get my carburetor fixed. I'm not going to go to to a guy that fixes lawnmowers to have him like tinker around with my Windows 10 update. People have certain things they're good at. Cool, do those things. But don't think that expertise in one field means that you have expertise in all fields. That's called engineering disease. I don't know what this woman has expertise in. I'm not sure. So far, it seems like wacky American beliefs may be her expertise. So tell me, if where you live, are there any politicians in charge of organizations that should not be in charge of those organizations because they're absolutely and utterly not qualified? I guess this woman could be appointed to be in charge of the town dog catcher, but I don't know what her policy on dogs is either.